Honestly, this channel has been my biggest excuse to just talk and rant about different movies, different superhero genre shows and stuff like that. And frankly, one thing I absolutely do adore and love about certain shows and movies has to be kind of the relationship element of it. Now, is it because I'm lonely? Probably. Is it because I'm single? Also that too. Now, it's not too deep and not that deep in general, but I gotta admit, when I was rewatching The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, once again, obviously it's not my first time watching it, but when I was watching it, it made me realize how much I adored Gwen Stacy or Emma Stone. Now, I must admit though, rewatching those things made me realize why The Amazing Spider-Man's Gwen Stacy truly broke my heart now, and also broke my heart way back when I watched it for the first time. Now, why do I feel that way? Why did she genuinely break my heart, and why did the two movie series of The Amazing Spider-Man break my heart? Well, I think all of us kind of know why. Because we all know what happens to Gwen Stacy, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm more here to talk about this Gwen Stacy character and how Emma Stone truly portrayed her. Now, off the rip, she was amazing in my opinion. Now, how comic accurate is this Gwen Stacy? I'm not so sure. Obviously, y'all know that I'm a comic casual. I'm a comic casual for a reason, but still, when we got this version of Gwen Stacy, I was over the freaking moon. And I want to talk about from the very beginning and the first meeting we have with this version of Gwen Stacy, or Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy. The first meeting is actually after the fact of, the one and only Peter Parker standing up to Flash Thompson and getting, whooped on. Of course, he tries to stand up for the little guy and he just gets pulverized for it. But while in class, he's kind of just sitting there, doing his thing, whatever, doing his nerdy, laying his head on the table or doing nothing, basically, just listening to the teacher, when Gwen Stacy actually kind of tries to talk to him, asking what his name is. And of course, he's like, oh, it's Peter Parker. And they go through this whole kind of shenanigan where a little bit of banter, you could say, that, and she's like, no, like, I know your name. I just wanted to make sure that you knew your name, of course. And that is obviously just a hilarious kind of banter back and forth between Peter and Gwen. And it kind of gets you, like, really into the relationship of Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker just off the rip. Gwen Stacy enjoyed Peter not for Spider-Man, not for, this like muscular, tough, or strong person, blah, blah, blah. No, when he was at his lowest, when he was kind of this weird, goofy dude, that's who Gwen Stacy liked. That's who Gwen Stacy adored, and that's who Gwen Stacy fell in love with. And that's who she started talking to almost immediately. And their banter and their exchange of just literally just names, which is kind of wild, because this exchange was very wholesome, even though it was just them exchanging their names. It was very cute. It was very awkward. But at the end of the day, it was very Peter Parker. It was very Spider-Man. Because we all know, and we all love Spider-Man for that kind of nerdy, awkward, extremely intelligent personality. That's what we really love Spider-Man for, or at least Peter Parker. I mean, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I really do love Peter in that regard for that his little nerdy quirks. I really do love that it's kind of something different you're bringing to the table, especially because he's getting all of these absolute 10 out of 10 baddies by being a nerdy, like, weirdo, awkward, like, scientist, or kind of like scientist like freak person. Like, this is what this guy is. This guy is nerdy. This guy ain't popular. He's not some jock, right? This is what Peter Parker is. He's that weird, awkward kid that everyone knows in high school. I mean, maybe you were that kid, and hey, shout out to you, because those kids were dope as well. There was parts and aspects of people who are nerdy, who are awkward, and who are just different in general that end up being awesome. And that's what Peter Parker really is. And Gwen Stacy being able to see that, awkward little nerdy person and making it like kind of glamorized, making it seem like, yeah, like, you are so much better than anything that I've seen before. She could have gone for the jock. She could have gone for the cool guy, whatever, the popular guy, whatever. Nah. She went for Peter freaking Parker, a nerdy, awkward kid that takes pictures and stuff. That's what Peter does. And it's honestly awesome as we continue on through the story of Amazing Spider-Man 1. And I won't be going through like every single aspect of Amazing Spider-Man. I'll definitely be talking about, for the most part, just the Gwen Stacy scenes. But we do lead into this Oscorp internship, or Dr. Connor's internship tour, which, by the way, Peter's not supposed to be there in the first place, but it is led by, well, Gwen Stacy. And he even actually impresses Dr. Connors during this, but we really kind of don't. We kind of hear him talk about like this or that, about like kind of some weird stuff about that would lead into eventually Dr. Connors becoming the Lizard. But we also have this talk with Gwen and him, and they have like this small little interaction about him being number 2 and obviously her being number 1. And we know that in this kind of world, or in this version of Gwen Stacy, she's extremely intelligent. She's extremely smart. I mean, she is literally working at Oscorp and works with Dr. Connors, who is one of the smartest scientists, who eventually actually grows his entire arm back. That's how smart this guy is. Now, does he turn into a giant lizard and almost turn the entire city into a giant lizard? Of course, that is definitely what he does, but it kind of shows the level that Gwen Stacy really is at in her own life. And this kind of concept continues. Gwen Stacy not only is amazing to interact with in terms of, like, interacting with nerdy type and awkward type people, but she's also super intelligent. She also is working an internship / job. I think it's referenced more as a job with literally Oscorp, which is, what the hell? That is freaking awesome as well. Like, come on, she's the full package. Like, we can continue down the line. She is absolutely the full package. And then we obviously go through the whole process of Peter getting his powers. Peter, though, would kind of continue the normal stuff that he would go through, getting through the whole process of becoming quote-unquote Spider-Man. But he would actually have this funny interaction with Gwen once again, where Peter has like an actual image of Gwen on his computer, and she seems like extremely flattered by his nerdiness and stuff like that. And Peter would end up asking her out, but like horribly. Like, he's like, maybe we could go, maybe here, or something, maybe there, or I don't know, like, I'm not sure. And he keeps like being so kind of awkward and all this other stuff, and she's just playing along. It's honestly hilarious. Like, she's literally just playing along, and she's like, oh yeah, yeah, that sounds great. Oh, over there, yeah, that sounds good too. Which he's literally not saying places. He's just super flustered and super kind of like nervous around her, especially. I mean, who wouldn't be nervous around Emma Stone? But it's obvious that he's nervous, he's flustered, all of these things, and she's really playing along with it. She's not making fun of him, not honestly thinking that it's weird. She genuinely is interested in Peter Parker, and is genuinely kind of even probably flattered herself by his entire nerdiness and his awkwardness, because obviously that is a compliment to her. Like, she is so, like, whatever you possibly could say about her, gorgeous, smart, intelligent, whatever it is that makes Peter like her so much. That's the reason why he's acting in that way, right? So awkward, so weird. That's the whole reason, and she knows that, so she's very flattered by it. And after the whole time of him, sort of, but not really asking her out, they would then proceed to kind of like, or he would proceed to say, oh, but not now, like I can't do it right now. It's like, bro, what are we talking about? What do you mean not now? Like, you are absolutely fumbling if you're not talking about right now. Obviously, we know he don't fumble, but still, like, what do you mean not now? And then, of course, she's like completely fine with this, happy, giggly, whatever, giddy. I mean, so much so that bro is literally skipping out of the school. Like, I'm not like skipping, like, oh, I'm so happy, like I'm giddy, I'm walking out. No. Like, literally, physically skipping. Like, he is skipping out of the school, just one after another, skip after skip after skip. And I mean, I would hate on it. I would be like, dude, that is so stupid. Like, why are you skipping, bro? But I mean, I would low-key be doing the same if I got to chat with Emma Stone the way he does in both of these films. I mean, I might just be skipping out of the rehearsals. I might be skipping out of the fake schools. I might be skipping out of every single room that we have there, dressing rooms and all. I might be skipping in and out of work, in and out of my car. Shoot, I might be skipping everywhere we possibly could imagine if I was able to absolutely kind of work with someone like Emma Stone and or the one and only Gwen Stacy. I mean, it's awesome. And I know a lot of you are probably like, dude, this is just a video of you simping over Gwen Stacy. And honestly, not too far-fetched. Not too far-fetched on the idea of simping for Emma Stone or Gwen Stacy. You got to realize, when I was younger, when I first watched this, I was a wee lad. I don't know exactly. I was probably in like middle school, maybe younger, but I was just a wee lad, man. And it was like, dude, Gwen Stacy was it. Everybody was like, oh, she's gorgeous. She's this, she's that. So honestly, it was amazing. Gwen Stacy, it was amazing. Everything she did, the nerdiness about her. There's something about a nerdy girl, you know what I'm saying? And it's something about someone who likes nerdy guys. That's also absolutely awesome to see. And Gwen Stacy is just the epitome of all of it. Gwen Stacy is absolutely perfect borderline. And honestly, we continue to see tons and tons of more scenes of Gwen Stacy. And of course, we get the whole Uncle Ben's death, and he rages out at school. I mean, to the point that even someone like Flash was being nice to him. Someone literally like Flash Thompson was being nice to him. We get a bit of a Gwen hug, and it feels horrible because we went from butterflies, smiles, little white lies to this. This is where Spider-Man truly begins. And all of that stuff with Gwen Stacy, with the world building, all of it, we were building up to Spider-Man. And sometimes you forget that when you're watching an actual Spider-Man movie, especially in my opinion, Andrew Garfield's, because you lean so heavily into these kind of scenes with love interests and stuff like that, you kind of forget sometimes that we are literally building the origin-esque story of Spider-Man, but we also are building into a possible big bad, which would end up being the Lizard. But it's kind of wild when you get these kind of darker scenes where you have him completely shrouded in darkness at this point with the death of his uncle, and we still kind of get some of these scenes with Gwen Stacy that aren't as bubbly anymore, and it's more of like, I'm super sad and this and that. And we do go through a bit of a patch of some tough struggles with what he should do in terms of revenge. He gets to work on becoming Spider-Man. We even get to see Gwen look at the boy while he's drawing in class. Like he's cooking up what Spider-Man should look like. And I'm sure many of us have wanted this type of genuine attention from a crush / love interest or anything like that. Maybe even genuine attention. Oh, okay. All right. I know that was bad. My fault. That was bad. I get it. It was bad. But honestly, that's another reason that makes her so amazing, and another reason why it really broke my heart Gwen Stacy really broke my heart in these movies, because she really had everything that you wanted in a partner. Someone that had genuine attention to you, someone who was interested in everything that you were basically interested in, someone that was kind of unapologetically just wanting to be around you no matter your flaws. Like, that is what Gwen was in this movie, and it was honestly amazing to freaking see. And I can see why my boy was really skipping out of the school, because this girl really is an absolute just amazing girl in general. But we do kind of keep going, and we get some more Spider-Man things, but honestly, we ain't really talking about a ton of the Spider-Man things that happened. We are talking about Gwen Stacy. So the next time we actually see her is at the school. And honestly, it seems like Peter actually isn't paying her that much attention, kind of feeding off of either, his uncle's death, but also just responsibility of now Spider-Man and all this other stuff. So it's really messing with him. You can definitely tell. But he does get a bit of an invite to actually dinner at her place with her freaking family. Like, damn, this girl really is in love with him, like hands down in love with him, because they're already jumping to, oh, I want you to go meet my family. Like, that is pretty freaking insane. It's a pretty big jump. And what it seems like to me is that they're not even like officially kind of together yet or officially dating yet, because we do get a scene, which I will talk about in a second, that it seems like she's waiting for him to basically confess his love. And I want to get into that, but I also want to get into what leads up to that, because we eventually get Peter going to her house, which is on the 20th floor, which is hilarious because he's like, oh, I climbed up the fire escape. That's how I got up here, which is like, dude, really? He says like, oh, the doorman was scary, so I climbed up your building, which is absolutely dumb when you put it into perspective. But of course, my boy brings some, messed up flowers and stuff like that. And they get to a little bit of bantering back and forth, her saying she loves the flowers, and of course that they're lovely and this and that, even though the flowers are absolutely messed up. But we eventually have Peter meet Gwen's father, which is a little bit awkward, because I mean, like, what are you doing in her room? Like, we didn't even see you come in. Like, when did you even come in? Like, this is weird. Like, why are you here like that? And this leads to them eventually having dinner, and this is where things get a good bit awkward and probably even tense to a large degree, because Gwen's father is just going in on this idea that Spider-Man is bad. Spider-Man is a no-go. He's a vigilante. He's this and that. And they debate a little bit. And obviously Peter can't just flat out say like, no, like, I know Spider-Man is trying his best. Spider-Man's trying to help, blah, blah, blah. But eventually it kind of crashes out into a really bad situation. And it leads to kind of Peter and her going outside and getting some fresh air, like not being in the midst of all that. And this is when I was talking about where he kind of has that moment with Gwen. Like, is he going to confess his feelings? And that's what Gwen is waiting for, right? Gwen is waiting for him to confess how he feels about her. And he's debating in his head. It's not that he wants to confess his feelings. He actually wants to tell her that he's Spider-Man. And this is a pretty cool little moment, because Gwen's like, I want you to say that, that you love me, whatever. And, he's messing with his own head here. And he's thinking like, oh, should I do it? Should I tell her? What should I do? Right? What should I freaking do? And eventually she's like, you know what? Whatever. And she goes to basically just walk away, and he immediately webs her and pulls her back in. And this is like one of the most romantic kind of scenes where he pulls her to like close, and they kind of they kiss, obviously. And this is crazy because it's not only a confession of love, but it's also a confession of being freaking Spider-Man. And Gwen is eventually told to go inside by her mother, and Peter would have to jump off the roof after, they leave. And she, in a low voice, says to herself, like, I am in some deep trouble, because that's what she is. Like, she now knows that he's Spider-Man, and her father is a police captain. Like, that is definitely, that idea of her being in trouble is definitely true in more ways than one. That is for sure, no doubt. And we do kind of creep up on this confrontation with the lizard, and just to make it short, we will talk a little bit about this first confrontation, but we do have Peter, save a kid from a car that is hung up by webs and stuff like that. And the normal stuff that would normally happen. This is like the first confrontation with him. And after this, we get another scene with Gwen and Peter on the bleachers, and they're talking about Spider-Man. And this is another part what really shows her true feelings and shows what she is as a person to Peter, and honestly what she is as a girlfriend and also a love interest and as someone who loves him and a partner to Peter, because she basically says like that she wants him to be safe, right? Like what happened on the bridge and all that stuff, that he needs to kind of lay low. He needs to stay away from it. He needs to be okay. He needs to this and that. And of course he's like, I can't do that. I really can't. Like all this insane creature stuff. She says like, you have to lay low. Like you can't be dealing with this that it's not your job to be dealing with these insane creatures. And this is very like, I'm scared as your girlfriend type of behavior. But of course, he thinks it is his job, or it should be his job. And Peters then would talk about the kiss that they had and that it was amazing. And in his own awkward way, he says it. And she says, you know, it was good for her too, you know, whatever. In which then he goes for another kiss, but he hits us with probably the best version of the whole, you know, you okay ladies type of moment, where he catches the football literally with like one hand without even looking at it, and then just throws it spiraling to the goalpost and dents the goalpost. Yeah, like, yeah, bro, like, we get it. You really want to kiss Emma Stone. I mean Gwen Stacy. But honestly, like, chill out, man. Like, how is that not suspect? How is nobody thinking like, hey, how did he just catch that thing with one hand and then throw it with one hand without even thinking? Probably throw it like close to 50 yards, if not further, and just immediately dent an actual metal goalpost. No one questioning that? No one? Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's kind of crazy because we go from this type of scene where it's more, you know, high schooly, and, you know, you got your schooling and stuff like that. And we get some time trying to find out more about the Lizard or Dr. Connors. And after Spider-Man faces off with him again, he gets hurt pretty bad. And it leads him to actually going to Gwen's place. And they have a pretty deep conversation about Gwen's worries about Peter and her father, not knowing if one day they just won't show up at the time they normally show up, aka they'll show up dead or be dead, right? So not show up, aka being dead, which is kind of a very hard thing to talk about. And that's what Gwen was referring to in terms of like, she's comparing Peter and her father being in a line of work that is, at the end of the day, very dangerous. So it is tough to deal with something like that and deal with your loved ones like that when you know that your loved ones have a chance at truly getting hurt. And, well, how quickly the mood changes, because we get some time with Dr. Connors, but quickly we jump into an actual school fight with Peter and the Lizard, with, by the way, another reason why Gwen is the absolute most amazing person / love interest ever, because Gwen just comes in and like smacks Dr. Connors or smacks the Lizard with something, and like girlfriend for getting an assist in here and basically helping out Peter. But damn, dude, like, you really trying to get killed. Like, you have a genuine death wish. Like, you almost got, like, you're gonna get yourself hurt by doing stuff like that. In which eventually Peter is forced to track Connors throughout the sewers, asking Gwen to get a serum. And this is where things kind of take a turn for not even the worst. It takes a turn pretty damn freaking bad. Because we all know that before the final fight, we do get a moment with Gwen's father, and Gwen's father knows Peter is Spider-Man, but he lets him go, kind of realizing that the kid wasn't lying, that they really do need their help, and that everyone needs to help and have like kind of come together and help. And during this time, Gwen is actually getting the serum and gets obviously a nasty jump scare from Dr. Connors or the Lizard. And eventually, with the amazing girlfriend that she is, she eventually gets that serum to her father. But the person that's going up there isn't her. It's going to be her father. And this is where things get really, really hurtful and really, really sad. Because we have Gwen give it to her father, the serum, go up to help Peter, and yes, they defeat the Lizard, but at the end of the day, we know the outcome of the father. The outcome of Gwen's father is death. And it's a sad thing because he sacrifices himself basically for the greater good and to keep not only Spider-Man safe, but also to keep, well, maybe more specifically, keep Gwen Stacy safe, aka, well, his daughter. And that's his dying wish. His dying wish is to keep Gwen out of it, keep her safe. And of course, this would be leading to heartbreak. I mean, her father asks him, please just leave her out of it, leave her out of these horrible situations. He doesn't want her to get hurt. And that's the reality of it, is if she stays with Spider-Man and stays too close to the action, that's what's going to happen. What happened to her father will happen to her, and her father knows it, because that's what happens to good people trying to do good things. And at the end of this movie, we have a heartbreak moment where Peter tries to keep her away, tries to get her out of here, but really, leading into the second movie, it doesn't really work, right? These horrible outcomes that could possibly happen if Gwen stays side by side with Peter, that's what's trying to keep him from keeping her close, trying to push her away and not keep her associated with Spider-Man. But that doesn't last that long, honestly. It really doesn't. Because in the next movie, we kind of get more and more romantic moments from her more specifically. Like, shoot, I'll even admit in the second movie, when you get the whole I love you and webbing, dude, it had your boy almost teary-eyed. Like, that was a pretty fire freaking scene. It was amazing to watch. And we all know that, yes, it was lovey-dovey. Yes, it was amazing to see both of them together in the first and the second movie. But we know what it's leading up to. We all knew in a way what it was truly leading up to. The curse of Spider-Man. And the curse of Spider-Man is you will always be in danger, and he will always endanger people that he loves. And that's the reality of it. Even if he doesn't mean to, that's the reality. And even after all the moments, the amazing moments, the Gwen Stacy moments, the awkwardness, the cuteness, the everything that she did throughout the first and second movie, standing side by side with Peter no matter what, ready to sacrifice everything for him, wanting him to be safe no matter what, wanting him to feel loved no matter what. Gwen Stacy was an amazing girlfriend, and it makes it all the worse when you know what happens. When you know what happens to this Gwen Stacy, when you know what happens to this amazing girlfriend who was side by side not only Peter Parker but also Spider-Man. I'm sure all of us remember this movie and could see the moments so clear. The flowers on her clothing to the rusty pieces of metal falling near her. We probably all were optimistic. It's Spider-Man, come on. Obviously she lives. But deep down, we all knew that a setup like this was not that far-fetched. And all it takes is one wrong choice, one wrong move, one wrong way, and you won't be able to save her. And bam, her head smacks on the ground and Gwen Stacy is gone. That's right there is what broke my heart, and probably broke so many of yours as well. Yes, all the lead up to this, it hurt so bad. Watching the amazing relationship between the amazing Spider-Man and the amazing Spider-Man's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy. The lead up, it made it hurt that much worse. The one he was supposed to protect, the one he wasn't supposed to let get hurt, got hurt. And he failed. And her death meant so freaking much. But not only to just Peter. It didn't mean so much just to Peter, but it also meant so much to us. Because we watched what Spider-Man truly is. Spider-Man is cursed. Spider-Man is almost doomed to fail. Spider-Man has everything that he ever wanted, but everything that he never wanted at the same time. Spider-Man has some of the worst luck ever. So when we saw it in full display, when there was no happy ending, when there was no optimistic outcome, when the one and only Gwen Stacy, the one that we have seen through 2 movies, be at such a just kind of a pinnacle point for everyone. Everybody was watching this. Everybody was watching Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker in these movies. And to watch her, well, pass on. To watch these two create absolute magic on the screen, it all felt like we lost a loved one as well. Just in a moment. just out of nowhere. It was like a slap in the freaking face. The setup, the moments, the love story, and even the awkwardness, it all led up to this. Absolute agony. I loved Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, and losing her at the end of the Andrew Garfield series of Spider-Man movies hurts even worse than anything, because we never got that third movie. But damn, credit is freaking due for all that moment, for all those moments, because they made me, probably even made you, feel every single crack in your heart when you watched Gwen Stacy's head smack off the ground and she was hanging by a literal spider web thread. But my heart may have been broken by the Amazing Spider-Man's Gwen Stacy, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say. How do you feel about the Amazing Spider-Man's Gwen Stacy? What do you think about it? And also, just how do you feel about the Amazing Spider-Man in general? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will admit, my editor is going to hate me because this video is 30 freaking minutes, but hey, I had to get through all of it, and it was 2 movies basically, and I skipped a lot of stuff, I'm not gonna lie, but it was 2 movies worth of content, so I had to talk about it. I really wanted to talk about it, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless, and if you did, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.